How about that? I'll lighten it up with some periodic table poems, and because I should try to lighten the mood somehow. What? I was enough of this death dimension sadness. I can't take it anymore. No, man, I'm gonna have to come up with something better. Aha! I'm gonna write periodic table poems. I'm gonna share periodic table stuff with you. I have got 2 poems in this book in the current issue of Down the Dirt magazine, the Darkness Within. I'm trying to lighten things up. I really am. I really am. And when somebody writes something, they sent me a whole speech all about, a short story all about Cobalt. And I'm like, well, okay then. I'm going to share with you some stuff about Cobalt. There's a poem called Touching Cobalt. I read it at an open mic. I performed it in a mega feature. And with all of my periodic table poems, I have to show myself jumping with, I don't know why, but this is the image that I use to say, hey, periodic table poem, I'm going to jump. I don't know what that means. Anyway, this is the poem that was done in this show, and it is titled Touching Cobalt, which was fun to do because I was with my husband and I got blue glasses and we toasted with each other in the performance. Here is Touching Cobalt. We toasted our anniversary with cobalt glue champagne glasses after we looked over the cobalt and tungsten wedding bands. Seems fitting since I am so attracted to you, and we're drawn to cobalt, one of the most magnetic elements. I heard a physicist explain that when 2 solid objects are pressed together, they never actually touch. Now, I can't imagine it, but maybe because electrons repel, all objects remain 1 molecule apart. That must be why, when we embrace, I want to hold you tighter and tighter, because I want to defy the laws of physics and feel that contact with you as long as I possibly can. Because right now, I don't care about electrons keeping us 1 molecule apart. Because when it comes to cobalt, it's 27 protons, 32 neutrons are wound up tightly together in the strong nuclear force. Its nucleus's binding energy is so strong that it only breaks apart once it is broken down into its isotopes. It won't break apart in its pure form. Kind of like us, I suppose, how we seem to be so bound to each other by physics. Physicists say that solid objects can never actually touch, and I'm sorry, but when it comes to us, that just can't be, because I want to experience you with all of my senses. I want our molecules to intermingle. I want us to actually touch. And thank you, I'm getting thumbs up from people here for it. And I was in one little room doing this thing and doing readings, and that's all you're seeing, just video stills from performance of what we called a mega reading, because once I had started writing poems for periodic table elements, every feature I would do would be periodic table stuff. Sorry, for like 2 or 3 years, it was all that people got from me, seriously. But as I had said, I later ended up doing this as a Twitter-length poem. I think I showed you those poems from, those pictures from Circle Brewing. Yes, I did them there too, but I won't show them to you. I also did them on a radio station in Chicago. This is a short one for Cobalt, and it's called Cobalt Goblins. Miners in German mountains melted rock to extract metal, but were poisoned with fumes, which they blamed on kobolds, underground sprites. The vapors were arsenic, but cobalt, now named for German goblins, came from here, and the ghoulish name stuck. It was fun at the end of and I've shown it off in here, but to be at a radio station, to be able to do periodic table readings. Let me try to show them off for you. It's just 2 snapshots of me doing this and saying, hey, before I had a book for it, so it's in a big old folder that says periodic table poetry. But those were the 2 that I was going to share in that break. And if John wanted to read one more, then I could just read and close out and we can leave it at that. How does that sound with you, Mr. Man? And
That's
then,
fine.
and then possibly we could be working on coming up with a plan. You know, this thing used to be so much huger, but we can look into whether or not we look for changing a time of day. I kind of like the first Sunday still, but
Yeah,
if
I like it too. I
yeah,
like it too.
yeah. So, but I don't. You know, why don't we do it during football season and we'll start at noon? No, just kidding. We'll come up with something to make it work for everybody so that more people are showing up. I have no idea. We'll figure something out because this has had a turnaround from people around everywhere, including David's. Thank you so much for hanging out right now, by the way. So we'll talk about that later, but John, host of the Zoom meetings, would you be willing to take it away? The stage is now officially yours.